You think you waited 10 minutes. You probably waited 7. Your brain just added 3 minutes that never happened. Every single one of these moments, you've lived them. And every single one of them, your brain lied to you about how long they actually took. Not a small lie. Studies on subjective time estimation regularly find people overestimate unpleasant waits by 25 to 35%. That's not a rounding error. That's your brain rewriting your day. So what's going on in there? Here's the question. Why does waiting feel so much longer than it actually is? Did evolution just break our internal clock? Some cosmic glitch we never patched? Or, and this is the more interesting option, is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do? Because here's the twist nobody tells you. Your brain was never trying to measure time accurately. It was trying to keep you safe. And those are two very different jobs. There are two clocks running in your life at all times. One is on the wall. It doesn't care how you feel. 60 seconds is 60 seconds. The other clock is inside your skull, and it runs on an entirely different currency: attention. Psychologists call this the difference between clock time and psychological time. Your brain doesn't have a stopwatch. It has something closer to a notebook. It estimates duration after the fact based on how many events it recorded, how much happened in your head during that stretch. Give your brain a lot to think about, and it logs a short entry. Not much time passed. Give your brain nothing, just you, a wall, and your own thoughts, and it logs page after page of nothing, which reads back as forever. This is why 5 minutes scrolling your phone disappears, and 5 minutes staring at a wall in a doctor's office feels like a small eternity. Same clock, completely different notebook. This isn't a theory I'm making up for the thumbnail. It's decades of research. In 1985, a Harvard Business School operations researcher named David Maister published a paper that quietly changed how every airport, bank, and theme park on Earth designs its lines. It was called The Psychology of Waiting Lines. Maister laid out a set of principles that sound obvious once you hear them, but nobody had written down so clearly before. Occupied time feels shorter than unoccupied time. Uncertain waits feel longer than known waits. Unexplained waits feel longer than explained ones. Unfair waits feel longer than fair ones. And anxious waits feel longer than calm ones. Around the same era, psychologists were also building models of how our internal clock actually works. One of the most influential is scalar expectancy theory, the idea that we have something like an internal pacemaker sending out pulses and an accumulator that counts them. Stress, arousal, and attention can speed that pacemaker up or slow it down, which means the same 60 seconds can generate more or fewer pulses depending on your mental state. More pulses counted equals more time felt, even though the clock on the wall didn't move any differently. There's also the attention gate model, which adds a filter to that idea. The more attention you're paying to the passage of time itself, how long has it been? How long has it been? The more those pulses get through the gate and counted. Which means the very act of checking your watch over and over doesn't just reflect boredom, it manufactures more perceived time. Checking the clock makes you feel like time is dragging because you checked the clock. Now, boredom is one thing. It stretches time by giving your brain nothing to log. But there's a second force that distorts time even harder, and it works by the opposite method: fear. You've probably heard someone describe a car accident as happening in slow motion. That's not poetic exaggeration. There's real psychology behind it. When your amygdala, the brain's threat detector, flags something as dangerous, it doesn't just trigger fight or flight. It also shifts your brain into a denser recording mode. Under high arousal, you lay down memories with unusually rich, high-resolution detail. Later, when you try to recall the event, your brain measures duration the same way it does everywhere else, by counting how much content is in the memory. A 3-second near miss, recorded in extreme detail, gets remembered as if it took much longer because there's so much packed into it. It's not that time slowed down while it was happening. It's that your memory of it is unusually thick, and thick memories get misread as long ones. This is also why an anxious waiting on exam results, a pregnancy test, a job offer, feels so much longer than an equally long wait spent doing something you enjoy. Your nervous system is on alert. It's recording more. And more recorded means more remembered, means longer felt. A fair question people ask: do men and women experience waiting differently? The honest answer, based on the actual literature, is not much. And where differences show up, they're small and inconsistent across studies. Some research on queue and service wait tolerance finds minor differences in self-reported patients or emotional response to unfair waits. But these effects are frequently weaker than differences tied to personality traits like trait anxiety or impatience, or to context, like whether the wait feels fair or explained. In plainer terms, whether you handle a long line badly has a lot more to do with whether you're a generally anxious or impatient person, and whether the wait feels fair, than with your gender. The Meister principles, occupied versus unoccupied, explained versus unexplained, fair versus unfair, predict frustration far more reliably than who's standing in the line. Speaking of fairness, this might be the most emotionally loaded part of waiting, and it has almost nothing to do with the clock. Watch what happens the instant someone cuts in line. The actual wait for everyone else changes by maybe 30 seconds. But the reaction is completely disproportionate to those 30 seconds. That's because a queue isn't just a mechanism for processing people, it's a tiny social contract. Everyone's silently agreed, first come, first served. When someone breaks that, it's not read by your brain as a scheduling inconvenience. It's read as a status violation, a disrespect signal. Research on queue fairness consistently finds that perceived injustice inflates how long a wait feels, independent of its actual length. Unfairness doesn't just annoy you, it recalibrates your internal clock to run slower. This is also why unexplained waits feel worse than explained ones, even at identical length. Will be delayed 20 minutes due to a mechanical issue feels shorter than 20 silent minutes with no announcement at all, because the explanation restores a sense of control and fairness, even though it changes nothing about the actual wait. Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. The microwave that feels like it takes forever on 90 seconds. The elevator you've already pressed 6 more times. The 3 dots that appear when someone's typing back, and then disappear. The GPS recalculating your route in dead silence. Every one of these is unoccupied, uncertain, or unexplained time. Your brain isn't malfunctioning when these feel unbearable. It's functioning exactly as designed, for a world that no longer matches the one we live in. Here's where it gets a little uncomfortable. Once you understand this psychology, you start noticing that entire industries have been quietly exploiting it for decades. Theme parks like Disney design switchback queues that wind through themed scenery, with actors, screens, and props built into the walls of the line itself, specifically so your eyes and mind are always moving, always registering something new. This is Meister's occupied time principle, engineered on purpose at massive scale. Give the brain more to log, and the same 20 minutes files away as shorter. Apple famously removed the traditional checkout line altogether. Staff with handheld devices check you out anywhere in the store, which doesn't just save time, it removes the symbol of waiting entirely. Banks and clinics put television screens and posted wait time estimates in their lobbies for the exact same reason airports move gates farther away. Occupied and known wait feels shorter than idle and uncertain wait, even when the clock says otherwise. And every app on your phone uses progress bars and loading animations for a documented psychological reason. A moving, filling bar, even one that isn't fully accurate about real progress, reduces perceived wait time compared to a static spinner because it gives your brain a narrative. Something is happening. None of this makes the wait shorter. All of it makes the wait feel shorter. And apparently, to your brain, that's almost the same thing. So what do you actually do with this? You don't need a productivity hack. You need to give your brain something to record. Scroll, listen to something, talk to the person next to you, anything that fills the notebook. If you're the one in charge of someone else's weight, a meeting, a delivery, a reply, the single most powerful thing you can offer isn't speed. It's information. A known, explained weight beats an unexplained one, even when the unexplained one is shorter. And if a weight feels unbearable, it's worth asking which rule you're bumping into. Is it unoccupied, uncertain, unexplained, unfair? Usually it's one specific thing, not the minutes themselves. Maybe the hardest part about waiting was never really the waiting. It was being given nothing meaningful to do with your mind while your body sat still. Your brain doesn't measure your life in minutes, it measures it in what you noticed. Which means the 10 minutes you spent frustrated and empty-handed in a line and the 10 minutes you spent absorbed in a conversation, those were the same 10 minutes on the clock. They were never the same 10 minutes to you. If you've ever caught yourself saying, "I've been waiting forever," there's a good chance your brain quietly added minutes that never existed. So tell me, what waiting situation drives you the most insane? Airports? Traffic? A text that says, "typing," and then stops? Put it in the comments. And if there's some weird human behavior you've never understood, ask me down there too. It might become the next episode. If you like psychology, human behavior, and the strange things your brain does without telling you, subscribe to Why Do Humans Do That Though? Because every week we uncover another one.